Hi guys, it's Kamau. Today is Sunday, and I have a little more time to just sit in and reflect. And I wanted to just remind us all, remind myself too, that we should be mindful. As we go about our daily activities, be mindful of others and try not to put too much pressure on each other. We're in the middle of the COVID pandemic. Not everyone takes it the same way. Some persons are more lax. Some persons are more in the mindset of doom and gloom, and no matter what you say to them, they won't snap out of that until they see things returning to normalcy, which we don't know when that will be, right? Some persons, they pretty much have found a way to carry on with their same high spirits, same strong step. They have been undaunted by all of this. And even if we weren't in a pandemic, just generally speaking, you don't know what people are going through on a given day, in a given moment. You really don't know what they're going through, and sometimes they say and do things and you misinterpret it because you don't know. So I'm just saying, let's be mindful all the time as we interact with each other, and I wouldn't say don't read too much into things, because you really do. You need to read what somebody is coming with, and you have to see where you stand with them. Yes, you have to read them all the time, or try to read their actions and their words. But I'm saying, don't be too quick to assume that it has anything to do with you. It might have nothing to do with you. It's just what they are going through, right? So even in your household, your kids might be going through things that they're not sharing with you, and they might not even have to share it with you, because they have to learn to deal with certain things on the inside. That's a skill you have to learn. It's not everything you have to share. It's a life skill when you're able to handle certain things just with you. And yes, we encourage our children to talk, but not everything they're going to need to talk about. And they might be going through things. Maybe they're going through puberty, through adolescence. As a young adult, it's very challenging emotionally. So they might be going through things they don't want to share, but at the same time, it causes them to respond to things that you do and say. Don't be too quick to chastise them, to condemn them, to say you have no manners, you have no respect, you have no gratitude. Sometimes that is the case. Sometimes that is the case, but don't be too quick to assume. Just rally back a bit, observe a little longer, try see if you can figure out, what's going on. Don't be too quick to assume. Your family members, they're not going to tell you everything going on with them either, depending on how close you are. You might have family members right now who are going through an illness that they're not telling you about, going through some kind of addiction, some mental health issues that they might share it with somebody in the family, but not necessarily with you, depending on the relationship that you have. And you might do or say things, or you might see a change in their behavior, and you assume that it has to do with you. It might not. Just still try to be kind, be respectful. Your neighbors, you don't know what your neighbors are going through. You might be walking on the road and bright good morning, because you're in the best of spirits. There's a pep in your step. You know where you're going. You know where dinner is coming from. Your light bill is paid, your water bill is paid, your phone bill is paid, your cable is paid, children's school fee paid. You had breakfast. Your neighbor is not going to tell you that the electricity got cut off, unless you're really inquisitive and you see the signs. They're not going to tell you the light cut off, the water cut off. the landlord threatening to evict them. They're just coming from the doctor with a diagnosis, a grim diagnosis. They're not necessarily going to tell you. So when you're passing with your Sprite and you're sprinkling joy all over, sprinkling happiness dust wherever you go, and you say good morning, and they're like, they shrug, they barely answer you. It might not have anything to do with you. They might be dealing with a situation where mom is in the hospital. They're going to have to start a GoFundMe page, which they are dreading to do because it is embarrassing for the family, but they don't have the money. And they're thinking, what if death occurs, where we're going to get the money to bury this person? They might have someone who they have been told person needs to start chemo, where the money going to come from. So your good morning, you're extending a good morning to them. They might not see the possibility of a good morning anytime soon. And so it's not you, it's just that they're going through things that you know nothing about, and they don't need to tell you about it either. But you just need to understand that everybody is in their life, everybody is in their lane, and things are happening in their lane. You're not privy to that information, but you're seeing the effects of it, but you're just not aware where it's coming from. Don't assume that it's you. I mean, it might be you. They might. I'm not ruling that out either. And I get what I'm saying. You may have done something to piss off your neighbor, and they're not telling you what, but they still have you up because you're not raking your leaves, and you're stealing the mangoes. You're reaching over the fence and stealing the right mangoes. You might be doing something to offend people that they don't tell you about, and they might do things to indicate that. But trust me, it's a greater chance that it has nothing to do with you. Still say good morning, still say hi, still be neighborly, right? And this goes with the average person on the street, the average man, woman, child. I'm a teacher, so when children come to school, I always try to think, what is this child going through? Because many times, when they're at home, they're going through stuff that it weighs heavily on them. And that's why I know school is a refuge. That's why, even though I started out as a homeschooler, now I have my own school. I have no qualms about school as an institution, even though I homeschool all my children. School is a refuge for many children. It's the only place where they feel safe. And I know certainly at my school, our students are allowed to express themselves freely, to discuss. So it's probably the only place that they are able to do that, because they are beaten down many times. They can't say what's on their mind. They're thought of as being disrespectful just for expressing. And we know many times they're abused. So when a child comes to me, I always try to imagine what could be affecting that child, especially those children who act out. They're aggressive, they snap easily, they look depressed, they don't interact, they're bossy, they bully other children. I always try to look at that and imagine and talk to them and try and feel them out. But this is just the case with the average man on the road, the average woman, the woman in the taxi, in the supermarket. So they will do things, and you're in the line, they leave the shopping cart and they're gone about their business. Their mind could be a mile away. They could be thinking. People have things that weigh heavily on them, and not everyone can juggle it. Not everyone is able to manage it in such a way that they can still be friendly, still be polite, still be optimistic. Not everybody can do that. And so they might be having little issues and you're taking it personally. Their mind is at the hospital. Their mind is, where's rent coming from? Their mind is, where's dinner coming from? Their mind is, a family member just got arrested. Anything can happen. Somebody can be, you know how many persons you walking by on the street who have terminal illnesses? Sometimes in my community, when I hear that somebody drop out, that's all we say, somebody died, and you're saying, really, what did they die from? And you hear the person had cancer, the person had this, the person had that. You had no clue. There was a student of mine. Her mom lives just down the road, and I would always see her. We always talk, and because the student and I are very close. And she would always come visit, and she promised to come and visit me. And I was saying, how come she don't come and look for me? And time passed. And the other day I was talking with someone, and she was saying, remember that lady died? And I was saying, which lady? Until I realized that my student's mom, she died from cancer, and I had no idea. And immediately my thought went to my student, and I'm saying, what is she going through now? Because I know her dad had passed from cancer. And the family went through a really hard time. Her mom was telling me they had no electricity for months, almost a year. And I know this student was starting college, I think in the second year of college, and I'm wondering what has happened to her. And I have no way of contacting her, to help out. But I was there assuming, she didn't come to look for me, and the woman died. Right. So, and she said nothing to me about going through having cancer, because not everybody, people will go through things, and it's not that they don't feel you and them on the level they can talk to you, but they might not want to burden you. Some people, they just don't want to burden you with their problem, especially if they see that your hands are full, you're busy, you have this to do, that to do. They might not want to burden you. Or if they might have troubles and they don't want, they're too embarrassed to say, they're embarrassed to ask. So just be mindful, that's what I'm saying, especially at this time. People have lost jobs. There's no job security right now. Certain jobs and certain positions that used to be so secure, managerial positions aren't secure, supervisory positions aren't secure. The ones who used to think they're at a level where they're good, if anybody gonna be cut, it's the lower ranks. No. In this pandemic, in this time, all jobs are insecure. So people have a lot resting on them. They might be having a household and both parents were laid off. Both parents lost their job, or it was a family business, and they just have to ride it out. There's pretty much no income. Now you say good morning to somebody like that, they might not return it. And it's not that they're not polite. They just don't see the reason to say good morning right now. Still tell them good morning, right? If you share good news with someone and it seems like they're not as exuberant as you thought they would have been, it's not that they're not happy for you. This is just a trying time for everyone. It's not that they don't share your joy, right? But, and I'm not even saying to quell that in you. You explore your joy, express your joy. Just don't expect that everybody will be able to receive that joy at this time. If people don't call you up, they don't text you, trust me. Right now, some people just don't feel like calling anybody, okay? They're not in the mood to call. You could be, prior to this, you could have been on the greatest vibes. Call up each other all the time, texting all the time. Some people not in the mood to call anybody right now. It's not you personally. They're just trying to ride out this storm, and sometimes the best way is to just be by yourself and just see how you